Hello, friends, and happy Tuesday, aka get up, it's freaking Dork Discourse, but also get locked in for whatever emotional damage awaits us this evening in the next.
For Revenge of the Sith.
Oh, that too, yes, hype.
If you haven't seen it yet,
It's still happening, correct?
you should treat yourself. It is. It is still happening.
Through this week, right?
Through this week.
Maybe we go again.
We might. We've been twice already. Might have to go through.
I'm tempted. When else is this ever going to happen? Although hopefully they see. They've been raking in the cash, y'all. What did they say? This is one of the biggest re-release opening weekends in history. So I wouldn't be shocked if they turn this into an annual thing. But welcome, friends. Emotional damage that, yes, awaits if you go to see Revenge of the Sith on the big screen. But more importantly, tonight, that awaits us sooner in our fate, Andor, episodes 4 through 6. I'm getting that hat off of eBay. I need it.
Listen,
yes.
this I've got this was in the Celebration store. It's a signature Revenge of the Sith hat.
Alex.
This is what Hayden, yes, shout out Alex. Alex snagged it because we did not get into the store, but Alex 80 Edits did. But yeah, this is the same hat that Hayden was wearing at him and Samuel L. Jackson's surprise Revenge of the Sith appearance at the theater, which, by the way, I don't know if you told him this, but we went and saw the prequel marathon at the El Capitan Theater in Hollywood on Thursday night, and their surprise was at the El Capitan Theater in Hollywood the next night, so we missed it by 24 hours. But this is the hat that Hayden was wearing, Celebration exclusive Revenge of the Sith hat, and 20-year Revenge of the Sith shirt here. I'm repping. I'm repping it all. But yeah, Alex, shout out Alex, because without Alex, I would not be wearing this outfit right now. So
let's get it. Squad's rolling in. Charlie, let's go. Sabers Miss, Daddy Josh, of course. Dan the Man, Stanley, Sean, Ty, Bird Church, Josh. Let's go, Josh. Happy to see you here. Sal, William, Daniel Berry Sports highlights. Let's go. Stanley's Alice, the Queen, Matthew Tarpley, Emery's Jerry. Let's go, team. Thank you all for being here. And shout out if you were also present during our little Night Owl return over the weekend. But yes, I did confess to them at that point that we had missed it. We were this close.
Yeah, we were.
We had missed it by 24 hours, going to see, witnessing the eruption in the room that was Hayden announcing Samuel Jackson making an appearance. I don't think anybody would have seen that coming, so alas.
We figured it was Hayden, because when we were there on Thursday, they said, like, oh, everybody should get tickets to the fan event on Friday, because we got some serious surprises, even though when they said that, it was literally basically sold out. There was like two seats on opposite ends of the theater in the back. But yeah, we were like, oh, Hayden's totally showing up. And then he did.
But and then, more importantly,
Mace Windu,
bigger surprise.
Who, by the way, straight from his mouth, confirmed, officially canon, straight from Samuel L. Jackson, that Mace Windu lives.
Oh, goodness.
I don't need anyone from the Lucasfilm story group to confirm it. Samuel L. Jackson confirmed it for me.
Listen.
Mace Windu lives.
He would probably come back in a heartbeat, y'all.
With all the rumors of Bryce Dallas Howard talking about bringing Mace Windu back. It's fresh on his mind. Clearly, they brought him out to get him back into the spotlight.
To test the waters. See, what's the fan reception going to be? And then the decibels, is that measurements of sound?
It is, yeah.
The decibels in the room just go off the charts because everybody freaks the frick out. So perhaps we will see. But we've discussed Mace Windu's probability of being alive one too many times, and that is, of course, not a topic of discussion heading into Andor pre-gaming for the next round of episodes.
He said he lives because Mace is in the Andor episodes tonight.
The timing. They timed it all perfectly. Well, you guys heard from me a little bit. As I said, we did our little Night Owl stream, so shout out again if you guys were there. It was a great turnout. It was really fun. I'm gonna, I think, maybe make those either weekly or bi-weekly, because it was a good time. It was a little party. But you guys heard a little bit at the tail end because we talked about so many things. Star Wars Celebration primarily, which you can hear I am recovered from. This time last week was a different vocal story, but I can actually speak tonight and don't have to subject y'all to that. My faulty voice box. So we have recuperated. We are back. We are, I think, safely back on our bodily clocks have reacclimated to Los Angeles. Let's see if the other reports I've heard will come true. Dan, what have you heard? No spoilers. We got 3 episodes tonight to see what's in store, and then that will already put us at the halfway point of the series. 6 out of the 12.
Yep, we got another Andor movie tonight, folks.
Somebody, Ty's mentioning Last of Us. Nobody speak about it because we still have not freaking watched it. We're banking the episodes at this point, and I don't even know if I'm going to be able to react to it at this rate, folks. So we might just be binging it. So apologies that we've not been covering the 2nd season at all. But we're admittedly just full speed ahead Andor. So you guys heard a little bit of my thoughts of the beginning of the 2nd season, but you haven't heard yet from Tom. So would you like to share with the people? I also don't know if I have your full thoughts entirely either. How you feel about it, because it was a lot to process. Frankly, I wish we had rewatched it over the weekend because it's a lot to take in. The 3 episodes at once.
Well, we've at least seen episode 1 twice. We saw it at Celebration, and we rewatched it last Wednesday. So we've seen that one twice. But yeah, I mean, I think that my one takeaway is whoever at Lucasfilm or Star Wars or Swagman or whoever made the brilliant decision to post an hour-long loop of Mon Mothma raving on YouTube is an absolute legend. So shout out to you, whoever made that decision.
They know what the people want.
Because that was awesome. So yeah, I mean, I think that it was the Mon Mothma piece with Luthen and the wedding and all of that, to me, was the most intriguing. And trying to dissect what's going on with all the characters' names that I don't remember. Davos scalding hot, and Taylor Swift, and Luthen's sidekick Batwoman lady Clea, and then the chick who is Cinta. Yes, Velma and Daphne, and Cinta. Yes, all those characters all together at the wedding, and then seeing Cinta show up at the end, taking like Taylor Swift off. Yes, like John Wick, the chauffeur, showing up to take Taylor Swift out to the woodshed. Was very, very ending. Very ending. Very fitting end. Very, very nice way to end.
That ended all right.
The arc. I think the stuff on, like, I was surprised that everything with Cassian and being with the rock paper scissors clan bled over the 3 episodes, and Bix and Brasso and the bomb maker guy
Will.
Yeah.
No, y'all. It was like talking in code. These are all the nicknames.
Well, I don't know any of their names.
Dave, thanks for being here. Hello there. Hello. Thank you.
But yeah, I was also surprised that carried over 3 episodes, versus like the Mon Mothma wedding arc is really, I think, what
was the culmination
main plot thread that carried the 3 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
So I think all in all, it was a great opening arc to the series. I think just like we saw with the first season, it's just going to be a crescendo that's going to continuously build off of itself, and it's just going to get more and more intense, more and more dramatic, more and more tragic as we continue on here through the through the rest of the season.
Clearly nobody is safe, hence why I titled this stream, Is Everybody Cooked? Because one thing I could glean from the comments of my first few reactions was a lot of you guys think that everybody is toast. Everybody is burnt, crisp as Anakin toast.
Well, because they are.
And one of you guys, I forget who it was, I apologize that I don't remember, but somebody mentioned that when we get to Rogue One, Cassian, when he's lecturing Jyn, she's putting him through the ringer, accusing him of having no empathy for the situation, how she's just lost her father, and he puts her in her place, and corrects her and says, "You're not the only one who lost everything." That really implies everything and everyone. That implies everybody he's coming into this season with is donezo.
Yeah.
Which we've already lost Brasso. That was his best freaking friend. It's gonna be a funeral, sister. Yeah. That's the tough part about these 3 episodes being released all at once. Someone's dying tonight, It's not like, okay, we're embarking on a new arc and we're going to see what happens in the next few weeks. It's like, no, tonight, Grim Reaper's coming for somebody at this rate. I didn't think they were going to come out guns blazing, swinging from the top ropes and eliminating a power player. Brasso is not, I do not think he is actually dead.
Oh, he's dead.
And that is not just coming from a place of denial. Brasso, man is like
dead.
6'7", had one little bullet blast in the shoulder blade, like
that went straight through his heart, out the other side.
He's fine.
No, he's dead.
No. I
dead.
Genuinely.
The only hope for him not being dead is that they left the droid there.
They left B, yeah.
They left the droid there. So if the fact that they did not bring the droid means like, all right, were they really just going to leave the droid with no exit? No, I don't think so.
Somebody's got to retrieve him somehow, or he's living happily ever after with Brasso. Brasso can marry that woman in peace, and they can run off, and they can be with B.
Yeah, I think I could see him doing it, just to give
Super Dave, yes, you raise a really good point. Hence why I also titled the stream, Is Everyone Cooked? Because the writer for tonight's arc is, I believe, the same one who did Narkina 5. Which, dare I say, is the highlight, I think, was like the standout arc from season 1, granted. So much of that one was carried by Andy Serkis and the introduction of Kino Loy. So it got me really thinking, he is like a highlight. I think those 3 episodes are some of the best rated ones in television, like, ever. Let alone Star Wars, just even on small scale. They are so phenomenal, and it's because of his performance. So I'm curious if we may meet new guest starring roles like that, throughout the span of this show. But
like Mace Windu?
No.
Mace.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. The return, folks.
But the droid is with Brasso's wife. Yes. I don't know if they were technically married or not. But there certainly was a relationship there. And if he could, I'm sure he would have lived out the rest of his days with her and live a happy life and raise a family. So yes, B is safe with her. So they're going to find him and patch him up. He's going to be fine. He is fine, y'all. Yep. Yes, Andy Serkis was amazing. He was. And so that's why I'm curious, do we still have yet to meet some epic characters to through the rest of this show, perhaps even tonight, who are going to, prove to be the highlights of season 2. Granted, I don't know if anything's going to top that because it's Andy Serkis. He already has history in Star Wars and whatnot. So getting to see him, perform in a live action role, it was just very special circumstances. So I don't know if anything's going to, we'll see. But
clearly they're laying the seeds because Kino Loy gets ground up in Narkina 5 generator underwater. And then the Empire recovers him, throws him to Exegol, and then starts.
Oh my god.
He's the host body for Snoke.
Guitars and Death Stars. Yes. Let's get it. Thank you for being here.
And Retro gets it too. Mace Windu will return, rope Dedra into helping them, and then Dedra gets choked out by Palps.
Oh god. Excellent
theory, Retro. Perfection. But yeah, I mean, I think that the interesting part that I haven't seen a lot of people talk about is that this is a very different structure from season 1, where season 1 was the whole show was in a span of just like a few days or a couple weeks or whatever, versus this is like a couple days
and then a year.
Then it's a year has gone by
time jump
into the 3 episodes tonight. So we've got a year-long time jump. So they have Bix and Cassian and Bomb Boy have escaped, and they're going somewhere else. And Brasso and Droid Brasso is probably dead, but maybe not. Droid is just on the planet, or maybe captured by the Empire, who knows? Or just helping out the family. The one thing I didn't pick up with Brasso, though, is this didn't hit me at first. Someone had to point it out to me because I'm an idiot. But the Brasso, when he was confronting the farmer guy,
it was all an act.
It was an act to clear the farmer guy's name. I was like, oh, farmer guy actually betrayed him? I didn't think he did. I thought he was trying to get him to escape. And then they were out of time because Bomb Boy went off to go hang out with his girlfriend. But Yeah, it was totally an act. He was totally just clearing the farmer's name.
No, I think a lot of people also were like, that traitor!
Yeah.
But no, they exchanged
Totally
a prolonged, moment of a look between the two of them, and it's in the subtleties, which so much of the show is. It's in a facial expression. It's so much is said between the lines and the dialogue. This season in particular, so much so that it takes you a hot second to realize, like, oh my gosh, like, they gotta get rid of Tay. Like, he's out here threatening Mon. Like, is he suggesting what I think? But that is what's so amazing. This show treats its viewers like intellectual beings who they'll eventually get there, whether it's not immediately, but they'll eventually sink in and be able to read the subtext, which is, their performances are just dripping with it. Ronan has joined. Let's get it. Thanks for being here. Another awesome friend I got to meet at Star Wars Celebration. Shout out. Sorry, you also had to catch me at like the end of, was it at like the end of day 1? So I was probably like out of it. I was overstimulated and exhausted, but it was great to meet you nonetheless. Yeah, everybody else is echoing that they didn't catch that either. I saw somebody like tweet like, this just goes to show that people will lie right to your face and then betray you to, an oppressive government, and everyone was like, no, he's actually still he came in clutch. But yes, we shall. Yes, that's a good point. I keep forgetting there is a time jump. I'm mostly curious to see the mental state that Bix is going to be in, because I know I went off on my tangents about the treatment of her character thus far this season, and if everybody is correct, all of y'all in my comment section who are suggesting that no one is safe and nobody is getting out alive this season, then that means she too is on the chopping block, in spite of
100%.
You're telling me they're gonna dish her the worst possible, most harrowing experiences in this show, just
torture,
bam, god awful things happen only to her. I mean, everybody in this show is getting put through the ringer in one way or another. They all have their own personal war zone, but for Bix, she's had some of the worst treatment on this show. You're telling me they're still gonna kill her after all of it?
Yeah, she's dead. Yeah, she is. She's dead. Dedra's dead. Cereal Boy's dead. Bix is... Oh, we just said Bix. BMO, they're going to kill him too.
One way out, chat. Damn.
The last scene of the show, we're going to think BMO's living in peace on whatever that planet was, and then they're just going to show him getting wire ripped apart in a shredder.
B?
Yeah.
Oh my
the droid.
God.
No. Everyone is so dead.
No one
except
is safe in your
for Cassian and Melshi, who we have yet to see yet.
That's true.
And Mon Mothma.
Yes.
And Krennic.
Super Dave, thank you for reminding me of that one. She had to watch Tim die. Granted, he kind of brought that upon himself by being the whole dog whistle, in the beginning anyway, to, summon the Imperial presence to Ferrix, and it all went to shiz after that. But, it still sucked for her. Yes, thank you. She has been just repeatedly god-awful shiz.
She has.
So I'm like, surely she'll be spared, but a lot of people I think are coming to terms with maybe nobody is going to be spared.
Her torture is going to fuel the tragedy of Cassian because clearly he knows all the things that she's been through, and when she dies a horrific death, Cassian that's going to be the final trigger to get him to be fully invested in the cause, which, I mean, he opens this arc pretty invested, like way more invested. But in Rogue One, he's going to go kill Jin's dad, even though he knows that it's wrong, and he's cold-blooded killer and no hesitation.
True. He's kind of like
he shoots the other broken arm rebel in cold blood on the what's the asteroid?
Oh, I did not remember.
Planet. They dropped the name of it. Kevlar? No, not Kevlar.
Isn't that
Kevlar is a material.
Yeah.
Kevlar. Kafrene. The rings of Kafrene.
Yes.
Kafrene. That. Like Cassian is at a different level at the beginning of Rogue One than he's at even now. So I think that Bix's horrific, tragic ending will be the ultimate the ultimate spark plug to get Cassian to really go all in.
I mean, I would argue and only disagree. I think he is locked in, but he's going to be doing like the dirty work, what we see Cinta doing. She's had her skin in this game. She's been on her revenge tour. So she's out here doing the John Wick, grunt work of it all, taking care of business. She has shut herself off emotionally, and which we did see a fragment of that with Cassian. His performance there after they have to abandon Brasso and make their quick escape, and the camera zooms in on the three of them, and they're all just defeated, but he almost has this twinge of, I don't want to say he looks like psychotic, but there's this very subtle, like, you can tell, like, his mind is raging. It's taking every fiber of his being not to explode in that last clip of him from episode 3. Like, phenomenal moment of acting from Diego Luna, because you can only fathom what is going through his mind and the rage that is, I'm sure, just going to intensify after he learns what Bix has gone through, that he was just like minutes late from, preventing that and whatnot. Seaworks says, I think Bix will survive, with her and Cassian's final interaction being Cassian promising to settle down with her after the mission in Rogue One.
That would be more tragic. But like he and Jin are like, more than friendly embracing on the Scarif beach in their end.
I don't know about that.
They don't kiss.
There's theories that something went on in that elevator.
In that elevator ride down, they're like eye and eye, like nose touching. Like if they both stuck their tongues out, they'd be touching. Like that's how close they were. So I've always thought that the romantic aspect of Cassian and Jin was flourishing. So I don't know. But if they did that'd be very tragic.
I always felt like whatever was between Cassian and Jin was just the heat of the moment of accepting we're both gonna die. Like, you can imagine that you might have, I don't know, maybe some, I don't know. I've never believed in Cassian plus Jin ship in the last 3 minutes of that movie. Especially if this is going where I think it is with Cassian and Bix, where the actors, even at Star Wars Celebration at the Andor panel, both suggested that their relationship intensifies, and we kind of see the history shared between the two of them that they obviously alluded to in the first season. But maybe that would be tragic in another way if Bix can get out and they have this pact or whatnot of Cassian has one final mission he's got to execute, and I don't know, whatever happens, Diego Luna keeps saying, this will completely alter your perspective of Rogue One, and you have to go watch it immediately because it's going to become an entirely new film.
I mean, that's one way we do it. If there was the promise of, hey, I've got to go do this one last mission, I think they're gonna do what like the Clone Wars finale did with Revenge of the Sith, where they're literally gonna intertwine and it's gonna be overlapping timeline.
Oh, you think?
I think so. I think they're gonna do it.
Interesting.
I think so.
I agree with you, Jake. It just always felt random to me as well. But we shall see. We'll find out. But yes, halfway point after this evening, it's just a lot to process, a lot to take in. But dare I say, I mean, I know Andor is not your favorite of the shows, but it is certainly mine. Yes. When we did our tier list,
I forget what
you
it
have
was.
your
It was
feelings.
like 4 or something.
Michael, thank you so much.
It wasn't very low. It was
no,
like
it was middle ground.
But I had Kenobi and Acolyte and Ahsoka above it, I think.
Yes.
Is what my rankings were.
Mike Hill says, I wonder if Andor will ever find out what happened to his sister, since he put it on the back burner since the first episode. I have seen a lot of Twitter discourse about that, with a lot of people in support of the notion that he never finds her, and that it was just, this dead-end search for her that was probably doomed from the start, was merely the catalyst for him to end up in that sticky situation that sparks the real, domino effect of where his fate leads him. So, in the process of trying to find, this kind of doomed mission of trying to locate his sister, which is proving to be pretty impossible, he's clinging to that bit of hope, that's what's fueling him. He pivots and has a different purpose in life. I know a lot of people, though, see that as like a plot hole, that like that's how he was introduced, with this motivation of trying to find his family. So much of season 1 had the flashbacks of Kinari and him and his sister, and to paint that picture of where he comes from. So I've seen some people suggest, on the opposite side of the spectrum, that would be a waste to abandon that, arc. I don't know how I feel about it. There are theories that Clea is his sister. He would know, y'all. He would know. It's not like they were infants when they were separated. I feel like he would unless he's never met Clea. He probably has not actually met Clea, now that I'm thinking about it. Yes.
Yeah, I don't think so. Because she's been entirely on Coruscant until in the first season. Right? Did she ever leave Coruscant? I don't think she did.
The first time we see her leave is to go to Chandrilla for Mon's wedding.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
No, and we also don't know what has been happening in the year
has not
since.
Been to Coruscant.
We don't know that.
Season.
But we don't know what happened in the year following.
Okay.
There was a whole year. So they could potentially have met, but chances are, I think the way they're operating, even just the subtle line cues, for example, even just from what we know of Luthen attempting to try to kill Cassian and tie up that loose end in season 1. After the mission was over, he was like, all right, we got to eliminate this dude. He's out there. In episode 1 of season 2, that brief interaction he has with that girl who is helping him commandeer that TIE fighter. And she explains, she's like, I was told I can't even look at you. Like, I think there is this level of secrecy of, like, you can't even know everybody's identity. If somebody knows your real identity, you're done for. Like, they don't even know who they're working with each other. And even then, when we see him with, as you would call them, the rock, paper, scissors clan, they don't know of each other's presence either. They can't confirm or deny that they are actually allies. So there is that level of, like, secrecy and confidentiality, and for everyone's safety, don't make eye contact, don't even think about looking at one another, or else we have to Men in Black mind wipe you. So I wouldn't be shocked if they have not met and he only knows her as, like, she's the radio. She's in charge of that, and that's it. So in that case, so he perhaps would not recognize her just through her voice alone.
It's post-puberty voice. He wouldn't recognize her voice.
True.
But I don't think it's Clea.
No, I don't think so either.
I don't know.
Dedra is Cassian's sister, says Retro.
Serial's mom.
I don't think so.
Serial's mom is Cassian's sister. I don't think that they're going to touch on Cassian's sister. I think if they were going to, they would have done it in season 1. I think now it's all about the rebellion and getting started there. I feel like Cassian's sister, if it's not a character we already know, would be, or one of the arcs is, he finds out that she's, like, enslaved by the Empire or something, and then it's another prison arc. But I don't know. I feel like it's not a part of the story they're trying to tell from here through the end.
I'm in favor of them not abandoning it per se, but again, he was on a completely different path, and the whole point of season 1 was that he has to pivot for self-preservation, and he abandons everything and has to, forsake his life and leave the people he loves to go serve the rebellion and whatnot, save his skin. Thank you so much, Dave. I predict an I am your father moment. Luthen is Cyril's dad, and we will see Galen Erso, and we will see Mon Mothma's declaration of rebellion. Now, you could be onto something with Luthen, because as we have learned, Cyril's dad abandoned the family. That could be wild. But knowing Tony Gilroy and how he's not operating from this, like, loop-de-loop, everything's connected, like, shrinking the universe because so-and-so is related and whatnot. Like, I don't know if he would dabble in that, but that is valid, though. That is a valid theory, because
Luthen is Serial's dad. When did they say the dad abandoned him? In this season?
In the previous episode, when they have dinner with his mother. And she is explaining that their dad, his father, had a taste for adventure and just dropped everything and left them. Yeah.
But Serial already doesn't look like his mom.
He could be.
He doesn't look like Luthen at all.
Well, I don't know. Listen.
I mean, unless Luthen dyed his hair blonde to be disguised.
I don't know.
I don't think that Serial looks like his mom or Luthen. But I don't know if we're going to do a full DNA gene pool analysis to figure it out. But
guitars and Death Stars.
It would be interesting, Dave. That's a very, very interesting theory.
A good question, which I have seen, I think is universally maybe one of the few qualms and critiques from people who enjoy the show, that they have voiced that there is a lack of aliens and whatnot. And I think that's fair. That would be probably my only, especially coming off of a show like Skeleton Crew, which had aliens turned up to the 1000th notch, especially since the alien species, you know, especially this season, as we're geared more towards a focus on the rebellion now that they're really getting their footing. Alien species historically in Star Wars are always targeted more so than humans. There's like a hierarchy, a sick, you know, that I think the Empire only further enforces. So
that's why you don't see any aliens at all
in this
the
show.
Empire.
No, but true.
All Imperial officers are all humans.
But that's why I'm saying the more we delve into the rebellion getting its footing, I'd like to start seeing some more aliens perhaps in this show. I don't know. We will see. That is the one criticism that I have seen repeatedly that I think is hard to justify, because we know that this show has a really great budget. I think we got some when we were introduced to Ferrix. There was like that really big dude that was like a bouncer threatening Cassian in like the first episode. The gorilla guy. Those alien creatures when they escape Narkina that capture them in those like slimy fishnets. So there are few that are executed really nicely, but they're not kind of
some gorilla things.
Those things are scary AF. I couldn't, to this day, I think I need to watch that scene with subtitles because I have no idea what they're saying.
The gorilla things?
The ones that with capture
the spider web?
Yeah, Cassian and Melshi.
Yeah.
I've watched that scene so many times, I have no idea what they're saying. It's Tuesday, Darth Venomous. Get up!
Yep.
Get the frick up. Heck yes. We got T-minus less than 30 minutes until the episodes drop.
27 minutes, folks. 27 minutes.
Agrees, though. I think it's on purpose because the Empire is xenophobic. You could be right. You could be right.
Yeah, I think Thrawn is the only Imperial officer that's not a human.
Oh, you're right.
I don't know that there's any other Imperial officers that aren't human.
Yeah,
but there's one.
Think about it.
And it's Thrawn.
No, there are Inquisitor aliens. A lot of the Inquisitors are alien. But Ronan agrees. I can see the lack of aliens.
Chick, what was her in Fallen Order?
Oh, what the frick was her real name?
Not ninth sister. Seventh sister, second sister, fourth sister.
He says it. What was her name?
Seventh sister. I don't. Definitely not the first sister. I don't remember.
If you know it, shout it out.
Yes, I don't remember.
But yes, Ronan says we are in an Imperial occupation and they're not big fans of alien species, so that is fair. That could be one of the justifications for their lack in this show versus, Skeleton Crew circumstances. They're going to these like pirate, hot spots and whatnot. So there's a lot more wiggle room to play around in that regard. I was thinking, oh my god, you know what cosplay would be really freaking fun to do? It came to me when I was at Celebration. I would love to do that dog thing from Skeleton Crew, the wolf guy. What the frick was his name?
The wolf?
Yes, what the frick was his name?
I don't remember.
You know I'm always freezing cold.
I don't remember any of the Skeleton Crew characters.
I'm always freezing cold, and so that would be nice and warm and furry. It would be so much fun. Oh my god, I would love to do that.
KB is the only character. Oh, and Wim, KB,
Jod, Neil.
Jod.
You know
Neil.
characters.
Okay, all right, I know the characters.
Brutus.
Brutus
What's his name? Brutus. Yes, Zash edits.
Yes.
Dave, thank you so much again. Heard that Benjamin Bratt is replacing Jimmy Smits as Bill. I'm gonna be real. I saw some talk of this on Twitter, and I just kept scrolling because why would? I don't know.
I mean, Tony Gilroy's been saying a lot of stuff talking about recasting a legacy character, which that's the tie that they think, but then also that Vader and Palpatine are not in it at all because Palpatine's meat was too big to chew on, or whatever he said.
What the frick?
It was literally like almost that quote exactly.
Oh God. Okay.
Maybe not chew, but to play with. Something about Palpatine being too big of a piece of meat to chew on or to play with. So, short answer, Palpatine's meat was too big for the show, so Palpatine's not in it. And then Vader is a distraction, not in it. There's not a lot to write about Vader. I'm not totally convinced. I think he could just be throwing stuff out there just to swerve people away. I mean, literally Rogue One, they said multiple times throughout the production that, no, there's no lightsabers and no Rogue One. No, there's no Jedi, there's no Sith, there's no Jedi, Sith, Force, anything in Rogue One. Now, granted, that was because literally at the time they were saying that, there wasn't. Because the Vader edition at the end was such a last minute, but Vader force chokes Krennic in the middle of the movie. Like, Vader was in it. So them saying like no lightsabers, no force, yada yada, like they were maybe true at the time, but ultimately they ended up lying. So they could be doing the same thing here. I think of the two, Vader or Palpatine, I would say Palpatine is the likely more candidate person to show up. He's literally been name dropped, and he's the political figurehead, and this is a very political show. And he's got the ISB with his puppet strings, so I'll say of the two, he would be the likely one to show up.
The people love your choice of words when it comes to.
I'm literally quoting
Palpatine.
Tony Gilroy.
You probably botched the crap out of that quote.
Look it up.
Dean, thank you so very much.
Dean!
Very much appreciated. And correct, we saw a ton of aliens in the bowels of Coruscant when Lonnie goes to see Luthen in episode 10. Good point. And I think that also, again, just kind of supports the notion, the settings that we see in this show, like the ISB and whatnot. Again, when they're on Aldhani, yes, we see more Imperial, in presence and whatnot. So there's I think the settings that they've chosen for this show probably would be void of like alien presence versus, like you're saying, when you get down into the little grimier levels of Coruscant, the lower into towards the core. So that is a good point. Yeah. And I don't know, we'll see. I don't think if that's the only the major, the one and only criticism of this show that people can bring up, that's valid. Like, I think that's totally valid. If that's it, if that's as bad as it gets, like, oh, I just wish there were a few more aliens, we're spoiled. We're still spoiled.
About Jimmy Smits.
No, we're still spoiled. That's literally, I've accepted the fact that we are not getting another show like this. I think, is that too bold, y'all? Dare I say? Come to me. A show
has this high production value.
The production value,
literally the budget,
the writing, the dialogue, the way the story is told, the way it unfolds. There's no, you don't spend every week to week, and I'm not saying that this is it's a different experience. Like, when you're watching Ahsoka, it's like, holy frick, Anakin's gonna show up next week, and then you're sitting there just like biting your nails for 7 days because you're like, oh my god, we're gonna see Anakin again, what the frick. This show is not carried by any of that. There's no nostalgia, there's no bait or anything like that. You're not sitting here week to week like, yes, we're sitting here having some debates. Oh god, Bird Church.
I'm gonna find the quote. I'm gonna find the quote.
Yes, please. We need to remedy this. The
actual quote. I think it's Bird Church, what Bird Church said, but just replace me with Tony Gilroy. But I'm just gonna confirm.
We gotta put this on a t-shirt now. This is your trademark. Do you realize what you've done?
I'm just gonna confirm. No, there's a few. Mace and Padme, tax evader Amidala.
Oh yes, Padme's taxes. Could never forget those.
I'm just gonna look up Tony Gilroy, Palpatine, me.
But Dean, I agree with you. From the teaser that first came out, I think we will see more later on in the season as the Rebellion Alliance is built. I agree, because there are so many aliens within the... Oh, did you find it?
Quote, he was too big a piece of meat for me to introduce.
That is entirely different.
Too heavy a lift. I thought about it at one point, but it was too heavy a lift. So Palpatine's meat is too heavy to lift. Not to chew on.
It is
close enough. He's talking about Palpatine's meat.
No, there are crucial words in there.
He was too big a piece of meat for me to introduce.
He is a piece of meat, not his meat.
Introduce Palpatine, the meat.
Our Father. Hallowed be thy name.
So Palpatine.
Forgive us for botching that quote.
Palpatine and meat were in the same sentence, straight out of Tony Gilroy's mouth.
Forgive us for
close enough.
Botching that quote.
Close enough.
Occultus Rexus. I freaking love that username. Super psyched. I've been waiting all week. Such a long week. I know. I cannot freaking wait. It's less than 20 minutes away, y'all. Scott is in the same boat.
Minutes.
I caught you guys live. Damn it, I'm so looking forward to the next episode. For real. Well, you don't have to wait long. You do not have to wait
19 minutes.
Kat, you should interrogate Tom about how much he thinks about Palpatine's meat. Y'all, this episode is going to go down. I haven't thought about it
until Tony Gilroy said it.
You said it wrong. You missaid it. You misquoted it.
Tony, if you're watching, I'm trying to back you up. I'm getting flamed here.
A wrinkled piece of meat. No, we've fallen into the
we're all meat.
The bellies of Coruscant, the underworld.
We are literally all piles of meat.
That's true. That's fair.
That's all we are. We're piles of meat.
What the frick were we even talking? We were talking about how this show is unlike anything else. Somebody said earlier that I think it was Swagger Likes Us. Yep. Or no. He said, yes, Andor is the best show on TV currently. I agree, and that's to circle it back. I don't think there will ever be another show like this from Star Wars. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, y'all. Palpatine's meat or no? But listen, that's what I was saying though. Yes, we're debating like, okay, these characters are existing at the time. We know that they're present, but what this show has captured so well that I know you're a big fan of from season 1 is that even just the mere name drop of him, Mon Mothma, the fear that comes over her face, this shadow that comes over her, when she mentions Palpatine, and you can tell that she fears for her life. Like, they've done so much to convey the weight and the presence, the looming fear that these figures have, even if they never appear actually in the show on screen.
Yeah.
They've done a brilliant job of that. So they, in this sense, I think, do more withholding than some of the other shows do, where it's like, you get a cameo, this person gets a cameo, this person's gonna show up, which I'm saying there's nothing wrong with that, but it's two different experiences. You're not going into Andor every week like, oh, I wonder what legacy character is gonna show up. Now, that said, call me a hypocrite because I've constantly been advocating, like, I think maybe there's a chance Galen Erso could show up.
Yeah.
Potentially.
I mean, you could do either way would make sense. You could do it where Palpatine just remains the overarching off-camera fear factor that they've set up, or they could do it where there's some type of direct monologue that comes from him, but you don't see him, or you could do it where he is in person, addressing the Senate and striking fear in everybody, or he summons an all-hands meeting with the ISB and strikes the fear into them. Like, you could do it multiple different ways, and the beauty is that they've set it up in season 1 to where all of those different ways would make sense and they would pay out. So if he shows up and just decides to start swinging a lightsaber and force lightning and raid Yavin 4 himself, that probably, although incredible, wouldn't really be in line with what they've been setting up. If he was going to go up and like use the Force to kill someone that has been he in his mind seen as treasonous to the Empire, I think that would be the extent that they would take it. But either way, they've set it up to where if he were going to show up and he were going to be introduced in some way, shape, or form, it would make sense based on the foundation they laid in season 1.
Yes, lots of jokes now. You look what you've started. All this tariffs on Palpatine's meat, and that's why Dedra's gonna be getting force choked out.
I was just reading from the showrunner, and the ladies and gentlemen of the chat have extrapolated it.
No, they're extrapolating when you misquoted. Y'all. It wouldn't be an episode of Dork Discourse. Every now and then we have some zingers like tonight. Was not expecting this. In an episode where we're theorizing, hypothesizing, is everybody going to die in this show? We come away with the conclusion that there are high tariffs on Palpatine's meat.
Actually, you know what?
And only this podcast can deliver such freaking rabbit holes, y'all. So for once, I'm going to freaking plug. Oh my gosh. I never do this. If you enjoyed Do consider liking and subscribing. I literally never say those words, so I feel like I'm gonna puke right now because that is not.
Smash that like button.
Smash the like button. But you know, I should say it more because when I watch other channels and they say that, you know, the typical like, subscribe, share, comment, the like button glows, and I didn't know that. So let me know.
Whose fault this really is? It's Star Wars Meg's fault. That's what I saw, and that's why I construed.
Oh, Meg!
Star Wars Meg
Shout out
that quote and said Palpatine's meat was too big.
Shout out,
and I
Meg.
saw that.
Oh my
So
God.
Star Wars Meg, you're a legend,
I
and
love
you're the
her.
reason that you construed the words. So
true credit where it's due.
That's
Meg,
on Meg. That's on Meg.
We love you. We ship you here.
Yes, but anyway, like, subscribe, follow Catherine on all the socials, and we haven't had our regular sponsorship shout out here in a while.
No, we have not, technically.
But for those who don't know, Catherine makes hand-painted custom jackets.
Among other artwork.
If you just want a piece of art, there's also a commission page at catherinelasalle.com where you can order that. But
Dave, quick diversion.
Jacket, a wearable piece of art.
Dave, I think that's actually genius. Agent Callus or Moff Gideon for a cameo. Callus could be really interesting.
You can order your own custom jacket.
Oh, and y'all never saw Sam Witwer's signature.
This is now signed by Sam Witwer.
Oh my God.
But yes, if you go to catherinelasalle.com.
We did get a very special order that I'm so excited about that I will be vlogging. Shout out Daddy Josh, who also so kindly approved of letting me film the process and everything. I, of course, would not post it before it arrives to its rightful owner. But another very exciting idea. So I'm super hype about that. And would you quickly like to plug McBots? Because you have a big weekend coming up. Big reveal, y'all, that Tales of the Underworld is going to be streaming exclusively on Fortnite.
Not exclusively, but you can watch it 2 days early. Just the first 2 episodes on Fortnite, yeah.
Yes.
So,
like what?
Literally, I am leaning towards taking Friday off from work to literally play Fortnite all day. So, might be happening. Definitely will be happening at some point on Friday. But yes, if you go to the McBots YouTube channel, and yeah, the first 2 episodes of Tales of the Underworld we'll be playing on Fortnite on Friday morning at 7 a.m. Eastern.
Oh.
10 a.m. Eastern.
Oh, thank God.
7 a.m. Pacific.
I was like, what?
So I literally might start streaming at 6:30 a.m. on Friday.
Oh my God. That would be wild.
So we shall see. But anyway, regardless, a lot of good Star Wars. The next 8 weeks are going to be massively Star Wars focused in Fortnite. So, very excited.
Yes.
Very excited.
I want to do some sort of meat related poll, but I don't want to fuel this inappropriate turn this conversation is taking. But I feel like I've already done a poll of whether Palpatine appears in the show or not.
I think we have.
We could just do a rate the first 3 eps of Andor season 2.
Cassian Andor.
You're gonna have to help me here, because how do we usually do this?
8 to 10.
0 to.
You're gonna start with 0.
Oh, if somebody here really despises
all right,
it.
0 to 3, 4 to 6, 7 to 8, 9 to 10.
Solid. All right. This is really fitting. Now we can finally say this in actual conversation. You may fire when ready. Shout out to another name drop that we got. Tarkin, correct?
Yeah, Krennic.
From Krennic.
Yep. Director credit.
11 minutes for real. Holy frick.
10.
10 now.
10 minutes.
Oh my goodness. I looked like Kay Vess in one of my jackets. Somebody, I think it was probably you, Emery, who mentioned that I looked like her wearing one of the jackets in my celebration vlogs, which I know Charlie had mentioned it earlier. Shout out to everybody who is present here that was brave enough and willing to partake in our little that was the highlight of that Sunday vlog from day 3 of celebration, where we all got to just chat a little bit. truly, I didn't really have like any other content for that day aside from like that meetup was like our biggest thing on the docket that day. Aside from our second photo op with Hayden and Rosario, but in terms of
our 2 photo ops in 1.
We did. We got a double deal.
Yeah.
Thanks to Tom's blinking eyes.
Yeah. Tactical.
So
closing of the eyes.
Just shout out, and of course for being willing to show yourself on the internet and partake. That was by far the best part of that vlog. So thank you guys for
Absolutely.
being the stars of it and being willing to partake. And of course, if you didn't even want to, I hope it would go without saying that none of them were pressured to, and I gave everybody the option of whether they wanted to participate or not.
Yes, they signed 20-page release forms each, and we got them vetted by
Padme's lawyers, who
yes.
also handle her taxes,
yes.
so they may or may not be.
So we're gonna get sued.
Those vlogs were great. Thank you so much, Ty. I'm glad that you enjoyed, and that will probably be the end of the vlog. I'm sure y'all are sick of like all the vlog content by now. That Japan vlog was posted from our day in Tokyo before Celebration kicked off, so from here on out there shouldn't be too many vlogs. Although there will be more art vlogs. I want to not just vlog the jacket processes for those who might purchase one and approve of me filming the process, but I don't know. I'm making other artwork, personal art that is not Star Wars related, that I'm thinking about just live streaming it, having some like lo-fi ASMR music, like let's work together or something like that, and just sharing some of that on the channel too, just trying to just integrate more artwork, because I do not do a lot of self-promotion when it comes to my artwork and whatnot, but it is very much a part of my identity, so I might just start doing more of that around here. Can never be sick of those vlogs, Kat. I'm glad. If you've got more vlogs, we will take them. Who knows? Maybe I'll start just doing weekly ones. Who knows? I always say my life's not that exciting, but I've learned that you can make it exciting. If you feel like your life's not exciting, then go out and make it exciting.
You can.
Oh,
you
God.
totally can. And making art is exciting.
Yeah, yeah.
Making art is exciting.
Oh,
playing video games is exciting.
Let's check in. Yeah, speaking of...
You can literally sit here.
We'll see if y'all get tired of Tom this weekend. Are you going to go like all day on Friday? I feel like you will. I feel like the servers are going to crash.
Saturday we've got stuff to do.
Oh, true.
A lot of this weekend will be spent grinding the Star Wars season in Fortnite.
Yes.
A lot of this weekend. For sure.
So poll tally's coming in clutch. We have majority of folks. Interesting divide here. Less than half of people voting for 9 out of 10, which is fair because I know this show has a very mixed split, and I do want to say that I know that there's this kind of sense of elitism surrounding Andor and the discussions around it, and how a lot of people, perhaps sometimes myself included, hold Andor to this like crazy pedestal and belittle every other Star Wars live action show, when I firmly believe like Andor, as I was saying, Andor and Ahsoka can coexist and have special things about each of them, but they are completely different entities. I love Mando just as much as I love Andor, you know, like, and so I hope you guys never feel like just because I'm constantly out here saying we're never going to get another Star Wars show that's this good. That's purely coming from my own bias and the fact that I have ranked this show at the top of my list. And this, I feel like it has just set this expectation, but I by no means think that this show, that it negates all the other shows. Like I just said, I love Book of Boba Fett. I love Ahsoka. I love them all. They all offer different things. So I do recognize that it is a very split, and I never want anyone here to feel like they can't voice their opinion just because people speak with this kind of like elitism around Andor, and if you don't like it, then you just don't know how to watch good TV, or you just don't get it. Your media literacy is bad, which is still, I have seen some god-awful takes. Don't get me wrong. There have been some very poor takes on this show, and things going over people's heads. But that is different from simply just not enjoying it, because like you said, you prefer Force users, you resonate more with the Jedi and the kind of magical aspects of Star Wars. And I'm sure that's the case with others as well.
Also the tragedy. And
there's a lot of that coming.
So the intensity and the tragedy is certainly there. So I think that's the one of the aspects that I love most about this show. But also just, I mean, you can tell that, I mean, the quality and the care that went into producing this show.
Yeah.
Like even just monetary value alone, they're going all in on this show, and you know, it shows. So, so yeah, I mean, am I story wise, like, I think this is why it's in the middle of the pack for me, just because it's like, okay, it's the birth of the rebellion, but a much more deeper dive into the intensity and the everyday person and the tragedy and sacrifice and everything that comes along with it, which is great and intriguing. And we know where it goes. And yeah, 4 minutes out. But I think the story
It's
aspects,
happening.
like, I want to know, like, what's going on at the top, at the biggest,
Okay,
at the
that's fair.
highest level, with the most powerful people in this universe. What is impacting them on a day-to-day, because that's going to be the biggest, grandest, most cinematic conflict, versus something down to this level. But you can go down to this level and have it be incredibly intense and suspenseful and intriguing and emotional, and that's what the show is, and it's great.
Yeah.
And it's great.
Ben Bamboo, love that username as well. Y'all are coming out here with the coolest usernames. Gilroy should be script advisor of all live action Star Wars content. I think he's probably tapped out. I think he's voiced very much that this is his last, contribution with Star Wars, but that would be like luxurious.
Yeah.
I agree. Darnock, you make an amazing point. Can't believe I didn't even think about this. We're 3 minutes out. Next episodes will be about Sidious's Gorman luxury imports, but you're right about, I think we could be focusing on Gorman here. I think it could be happening. I think Dedra's going to be, because it's going to be a year out. So they're probably in the thick of it, getting ready to sabotage the planet. Or create this mass exodus or whatever. It's not going to be mass exodus. It's going to be mass Xing people. Control-Alt-Deleting. What Cinta did to Tay is, I think, what is about to be happening. Taylor Swift.
Poor Tay-Tay.
That's what's about to be. That could be going down. Although it was
Shout out Taylor Swift if you're watching.
That was such a horrific, obviously, just the proposition and everything from Krennic. Like, I don't know. They might be still building to that. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, frick, but I didn't think about it. It's happening. It's hitting me that it's happening. So quickly, we're going to wrap up. Thank you guys so very much for watching. I'm glad to hear that a majority of you guys ranked the first few episodes 9 to 10 out of 10. Holy shnikes, it's happening. Okay, drop predictions now for who you think might be getting cooked this arc. Yeah, we'll see. We'll rendezvous. And I know I had talked about it on Saturday, but maybe we'll just do another live this week to unpack and discuss it, of course, alongside my reactions. Disney Plus on standby, fam. For some of y'all, it's probably already out. It's probably already dropped. It always drops, like, differently for other folks.
It takes a few minutes to percolate through.
Yes, everybody's
the
internet.
ether.
But thank you guys so very much for watching. Hope you guys enjoy. Stay tuned for the reactions. It might take me a little bit longer to edit because, holy shnikes, there's 3 at a time, so I'm going to be backlogged. But we will get them out as fast as we possibly can. Until then, I hope you guys enjoy. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day, night, morning, evening, 3 a.m., wherever you may be. Brace for impact, and we'll see you all on the other side.
There you go.
One way out. Only way out is through, y'all. On freaking program. Let's get it. 1 minute.
Andor movie number 2 is live in less than a minute. Still less than a minute. Still less than a minute.
Almost.
Now it's live.
All right.
It's live.
Get it, y'all. We'll see you guys.
Enjoy, everybody.